everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I am doing a Valentine's Day set for you today. As we know, I don't really like, Valentines and all of that. So, sorry, I'm trying to shut my door at the same time as recording. The joys of having a tween of a son is he's got his mates and they're all on voice chat together, which is fine, it's lovely. They're all communicating, but it just means that they can also hear me, which is not always a good thing. Okay, so we're going to start off with a marble. Now, if you wanted this to separate, so when you put a white and a red together, okay, you were going to end up with pink bits in there. Now, I wanted that because of what I'm doing with this, but it meant that I didn't have to put a pink in there as well. I could just do a two-colour. If you don't want that and you want the sharp contrast, you pick up the white bead, then you put some clear bead, then you put the red bead, and it will just stop them from merging into each other. I am using a dream catcher here. I've used Snow White with the red. Snow White is the white, dream catcher is the red. This red, it's almost ends up looking like it's like a jelly nail. Do you know what I mean? Like the gel polishes. I don't know why it just doesn't cover quite the same way. So it did take me a few beads on this one. Also, I did do some colour blocking on this, but I went completely the wrong way. Okay, so this is a bit of a fail. What I should have done is put the white down and have it curving like I was doing a French. Or I could do it this way and have it curving the way it is, because then you can file round it. But whichever way I did it. So when I come to put the white on in a minute, a bit further in the video, it's not as crisp as I want it to be. I cannot remember the last time I did colour blocking. So in my brain, which I hadn't even planned most of this design, all I knew is I wanted to use some roses because I have got an absolute butt ton of flower foils and I've barely used any of them. I was like, I really want to use them. And yeah, so this design kind of just evolved, right? There wasn't a clear plan here, as you can possibly tell. My ratios for white was just shocking. Because I completely forgot what I was doing with white. Because white, as we know, does not play ball, right? It doesn't work the same as all the other core powders. And I should know that, because it irritates me every single time I use white. But I didn't. I also should have used smaller beads when trying to do colour blocking, because I got myself in a bit of a mess, as you can tell with this one. Also, the fact that I decided to do the top part first, because in my brain, you see, I'm thinking I'll do the dark colour first so I can clean all my brush off before using the white so that I don't contaminate it. Whereas what I should have done is just use the bloody white first. Then come in to file it and then put the red on it. But I just thought, no, if I put the red on the white, it's going to end up staining it and it won't file off properly, and then I'm going to end up with a bit of a mess. So there was logical process, thought process that went into this of why I did it that way round. It just meant that I didn't quite get as crisp a line as I possibly could have done. In the end, however, it actually didn't matter in the slightest, because I'm going to come along and put some roses on it anyway. So I was overthinking it, basically. I was like, yeah, do you know what? I fancy a bit of colour blocking. I really wasn't sure where I was going with those two nails, to be honest. I knew I wanted the marble, which is amazing. I love it. I love that marble. And the other two nails, I wasn't sure. At first, I was just going to do the whole red nail, but I didn't really like how the red was going. And after I'd done the first bead, so that original nail, the ring finger, was going to be the 3 bead method. in the red. And when I put the first one down, I thought, ooh, oh, I could do a bit of colour blocking here. This thumb is atrocious. It just is. It doesn't get any better. I don't know. I love these tips, but I hate them at the same time because they are just so bloody big. And thumbs are big anyway. And yes, as you can tell, I've managed to take the polish off my own thumb as well. So you're going to see that in a few videos. So if that bugs anybody, well, sorry. In fact, that's the only one that's come off. And it was almost like it separated off the nail. And I was playing with some clip-in hair extensions. And I think what I've done is I've actually, you know, I always say that hair is like cheese wire sometimes. And it slices through stuff. I think I got it kind of like, almost like stuck between. And then as I've pulled it out, I've kind of sliced it. Okay, so here's my colour blocking. It was too big a bead, basically, is where I went wrong with this one. I could have got this, but I went with the too big a bead, but my consistency was better. So, you know, perks here. So because I've realised that I cannot file that one because of the way it curves, obviously the file doesn't curve that way, it's not going to happen. I've got to try and somehow get this to all match up and be as neat as is humanly possible. So I'm basically going to faff around with this quite a bit, but it was all right. It was all right. So that's the first fail, is my colour blocking is not the greatest. There is another fail that is coming up, which is when we come to do... So my husband is sending me loads and loads of text messages at this point. I've been waiting for my husband to text me back all day. Right? I texted him early this morning. Well, not that early in this morning, but, you know, earlier on when he was going to work, and I've heard nothing, right? This is now 4 hours later. And now all of a sudden I'm getting this flurry of text messages. I'm like, why do you always do that when I'm busy trying to do other stuff? He only gets 15-minute breaks, so I need to respond back to him if I will need to respond to him during those breaks. But I'm like, I'm in the flow of recording. That's really irritating. Really? Yeah, see, now here you go. See, I put it down and I left it. It does still go a little bit messy because it was still a bit... It was a bit wet. I was trying to do smaller beads, and then I was like, right, it won't matter if I go over this one because I can kind of... I can nudge it back where I want it. I can do this. I can do this. In the end, I stopped trying to be neat and tidy with this one because I'm like, you know what? I can just file over the top of that one. It'll be fine. Part of me was debating whether or not to make that one a bit of an ombre, because actually that would look quite cool because it would merge... It kind of looks a bit pinky when it goes over the red. And a little bit hazy. I know what I mean. I don't know what, yeah. I'm not sure you know what I mean, but I know what I mean. But in the end, no, so what I did, I filed those nails before I capped them. Just to see if I can make them as crisp as humanly possible. See what I mean? It kind of... Yeah, it gets very messy. It really does. This is not pretty by any stretch of the imagination. But you all know that I show it you as it comes, right? I'm not here to be perfect. And I will happily show when I muck it up. And when it ain't so pretty. But you know what? We make it pretty. So it's okay. It's okay. Right, so here comes the next fail. For some reason, and I do not know why, when you use foil gel... which this is, and it's very good foil gel, when you use it on white, it turns it yellowish. Yeah. Which is really, really irritating when I've just done a pure white set. So I did try and was like, oh, do you know what? Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should just leave it, you know. But I was like, no, do you know what I'm going to do? I ended up basically putting... foil gel on all of the nails to make the white in the other nails similar to the ones in these two nails, and then I added some more roses on the end of it basically just to put some in there as well. And then it all matched each other, which was totally fine. I do end up redoing this now because I realised I put the roses the wrong way round. After all that. But yeah, so you can see the colour blocking isn't too bad. It isn't too bad. It just wasn't quite as crisp as, we could have gone. But anywho, I liked how this set turned out. So what I did, I'm cutting smaller bits off, and then I am rubbing it like mad, which I apologise because that part is off camera. Either way, it looked creepy as hell, the fact I've just taken a finger off and now rubbing the nail. So possibly a good thing. And we're just going to peel it off, and there you go, you see? Look at that. Now, if this was on a person, I would use base coat first and then I would top coat over the top. But I didn't in this one. So, yep, we're just going to pop a couple more. There you go, you see. I was like, no, that's not working. It's the wrong way. So, yeah, that one's going to come back off, and then we're going to redo that one. And basically none of that was in shot, so I've taken all of that out, and we're just going to come along and we're going to pop the top coat on, and then, like I said, we're going to be done with this design. There is a picture at the end which shows you when I've done all of the other nails as well, and then that's it. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.